Moving on, we'll have a sharing from Cathay Pacific entitled Battle Against Single-Use Plastics, Our Journey, Our Roadmap. Our speaker for this session is Grace Cheung, the Head of Public Engagement and Sustainability of Cathay Pacific Airways. Let us welcome Grace onto the stage.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone. I'm Grace Cheung from Cathay Pacific, and I'm very honored today to be able to take part in this very first event of Rethink, and a special congratulations to Chris and the team for finally staging it. I believe we all have been looking forward to it. So today, I would like to share with you Cathay's journey through our single-use plastic reduction. And through sharing our experience, I want to have something to take away for each of you, whatever you are in your single-use plastic reduction journey. So before we start, just to get into record, plastic is not all evil. It's indeed a useful material. It's lightweight, which is particularly important for an airline trying to reduce its carbon emission by reducing weight on its flights. And it's also versatile, it's strong, it's cost efficient, and it's also help keeping food or equipment safe from contamination, which is particularly important, especially in the past 10 months. So the problem is really about the amount we use, especially single-use items, whether there is sustainable alternative exists, and whether we can close the loop when plastic indeed need to be used. So at Cathay Pacific, our plastic reduction journey actually started more than 20 years ago. I'm not going to go through all the history with you today, and if you're interested, you're welcome to check them out in our Sustainable Development Reports. But what I'm trying to show you this is to show you the context of where we were when we tried to give a renewed focus in our single-use plastic reduction journey back in 2018. So when we first get it started, or restarted, I should say, we first try to engage our people with a clear strategy and some impactful, easy to implement initiatives to gather momentum. Like many of you, we went after the low-hanging fruits of removing all the straws and stirrers in our operations, whether it's in the air or on the ground, in our office or in our lounges worldwide. The strategy we shared with our people should look very familiar to many of you, but it is also tailored to the specific context in Cathay. For example, for the R under reuse, we include initiatives to engage our customers to take part in our reuse effort. For example, encouraging them to reuse the plastic cups they may get when they fly with us in economy class. Or under recycle, we put down remind there because we want to remind our people that we have long established an in-flight recycling program which they could really make best use of after serving customers in flight. But the most important of all is the last R, Rethink, which is the same name as the conference we are at today. Because this is really important to engage our own team to rethink how we can redesign the way we meet customer needs in a much more environmentally conscious way. And these directions and clear guidelines really help refocus our people on what they could do in each of their own functional area to review and introduce changes of the way single-use plastic in our operation. And they need to feel the impact they are making, and that's where the low-hanging fruit initiative came in. As a result of our decision to removing all the straws and stirrers, what we have done was to remove 32 million pieces of single-use items from our operations each year. So that's really huge. And it cuts across to both our customer-facing servicing team as well as back office staff in their canteen experience. So it touched on everyone and gives momentum to continue the process, which is really important because we're just getting started and the tough work was just begun. So following the announcement of those easy bits, we started to give a structure of our single-use plastic reduction journey. And to give it a proper structure, the first step we took was baseline mapping exercise. It's tough, It's tedious, it's time-consuming, but I can assure you it is also necessary and tremendously helpful. What we found even surprised us, working from the inside. What we've identified was over 300 different types of equipment, which is classified as plastic in its making. And many of them are mainly single-use plastics. And when we counted the number of our annual consumption back in 2018, they amounted over 370 million pieces and weighed over 3,000 tons. And that's just 1 year. And that's quite a staggering number. So on average, that would mean for every one of our passengers taking on our flight, they would use on average 10 pieces of single-use plastic. And the total plastic weight in a year is enough to fill 10 of our A350-1000 aircraft, which is the latest model joining our fleet. But after knowing the full extent of our single-use plastic footprint, we managed to set our target to reduce the usage by half by the end of 2022. So how could we convince management that it's the right target? And that's where information from the baseline mapping exercise came in. In our case, the 2080 rule is really accurate down to 1 decimal place. In the top 20 single-use plastic items in our consumption accounted for 80% of our total SUP consumption on a piece basis back in 2018. So putting the words, sort of like putting the pictures, the words, so you have better ideas of what they are. These 20 items, by simply focusing on them, we are very confident that we could have a good chance of reaching our 50% reduction target. And then you may notice many of the items here are passenger-facing, especially in our economy class cabin. And we have been making good progress. At the beginning of this year, we've already implemented a number of reduction and working on nearly all of them, exploring what alternatives we could have. But then, bang, well, we all know what happened. COVID-19 hit, and basically lots of the things was put on the pause. This is where we are right now. This year, for most of this year, the whole Cathay group have been carrying less than 2,000 passengers a day, which is less than 2% of what we used to be. And no one knows how fast the recovery could be. Industry forecasts have it that the international aviation industry would likely seeing rebound to the 2019 level by 2024. Does it mean that me and my team could sit back and just let the drop of passenger number help us reach our target and then we just do nothing on it? Of course not, and that's why you're seeing me here today. So while many initiatives were put on hold previously, we still managed to move forward with some of the items. And also, we just regrouped with the whole team to revisit many of the initiatives which were put on hold previously as we start planning our actions in 2021. But let's not kid ourselves. It's not going to be easy. The challenge is huge. And it's not going to be just dealing with these items we've identified 2 years ago. But there are some new items that weren't even there when we did the mapping. And the level of usage has definitely shot up in the past few months. But we are determined to make it work. And for such a tremendous challenge, it's not possible to do it by ourselves alone. So that's why we've tried something new, and we know it's important to bring in others with us. So together with our colleagues at the Cathay Pacific Sustainable Development Office, we have tried this, we've done this new trial earlier. Basically, we partnered with a clean tech cluster company, and in its network are hundreds of companies and startups from all around the world. They are experimenting, researching, doing prototypes, developing products, or already have something in the market that supports sustainable development. What we did was to send out 3 problem statements outlining our sustainability challenges. And one of them was the difficulty we have in replacing our single-use plastic items. So we have received overwhelming responses, and among the many shortlisted, we have picked over 20 different companies and their proposals and went through the next stage of interviews, meetings, and finally, we have selected one partner for each of the problem statements to go on to trial their solution with us. It's something very different from our normal procurement process, and we've learned something new along the way, and I would really like to share the benefits of this approach with you. First, instead of waiting passively of what our suppliers or potential solutions knock on our door of what may be useful for us, we took a proactive approach to see what's out there. This exercise helped us to make new friends, basically beyond this normal supplier base we would normally engage. Because we have many more startup and small companies responding to our proposal, we are able to see many new technologies or solutions or approaches that we haven't thought about previously. And to be honest, many of them may not be mature to the stage to meet commercial requirements like we have now, but this exercise also helps us to have an idea of what possibilities are out there and what potential solutions may become more mature and suitable for our use down the line in next few years' time. This is tremendous learning for the whole team involved in the whole process. More importantly, this exercise also facilitated cross-sectoral collaborations and sent a very important message to these clean tech companies and developers that commercial companies like us, they are serious about their sustainability effort, and we are ready to do this together with them, with the startup and the research, all the products in development. So if you're interested to learn more about this trial from us, happy to reach out to myself, my colleagues, or from Cathay Pacific Catering Arm and our Swire Pacific colleagues here. And also I would like to introduce you to George. George is here, wave hands, from Eco-Inno, here at the front, in case you're looking at the right direction. This George and Eco-Inno is actually one of the winner, if I may call it, from the trial I just shared. And we are working very closely with George's team to trial some solution for replacing some single-use plastic items in our operation. And George has something very exciting to share, and I'll leave that with him, so go look for him during break. And this is the end of my sharing today. As I shared at the very beginning, I hope there is something for each of you to take away, no matter wherever your journey is, your single-use plastic reduction journey. Thank you very much.